Okay, so now that we have our pillow pinned, we're going to start with either a whip stitch, your directions called an overcast stitch, and then we'll show you a variation called a blanket stitch. I've already gone ahead and put my knot into my thread, and I'm going to do something that you should not do. I'm actually going to sew with a thread that does not match my pillow halves. I'm going to be sewing with gold. I'm just doing that simply to show a contrast in the pillow so you can see the stitches better. But on yours, if you were sewing this pillow, for example, you would be sewing with purple. I'm just going to start here on the edge, and you can pick any edge to start your project on, and we just go in and up over the edge. We're always going to come in the same side, and we're just going to bring our needle up and bring it over the edge, in, up over the edge, constantly in the same side, just pulling it up over the edge, taking our time, keeping the stitches small and close together so that way we don't allow for any holes to happen. And hopefully we'll get a little close up here in just a second of what those stitches look like. They're not the neatest of stitches necessarily here, but this would allow for no holes. The next stitch I'm going to show you is a little bit neater. It's a little bit stronger, which is why a lot of students choose to do this stitch instead, even though it has a little extra work. This is called the blanket stitch, and what it is where you go through the loop. Sorry, I missed that one. So we're going to always go in the same side. It's just like the other stitch. The only difference is we are going through the loop each time. And in a few minutes here, or a few seconds I should say, you'll be able to see the difference in appearance between the two stitches, that this one will pull a string along the top. It's basically like putting a little knot in it. I tend to think my stitches look a little bit neater with this stitch. A lot of students feel like they get a rhythm to this stitch. So I'm going to show that to you in just one second here. Okay, so if you look here on the video, you can see that there's a line pulling across the top. These stitches are pretty small. I think that tends to help me keep a little bit smaller on my stitches. And either stitch is appropriate and okay to do on your pillow. It's just based on personal preference which one you choose to do. Now, no matter which stitch you decide to do, you're going to need to end it at some point. Obviously, if you're at the end of your pillow, that's a good time to end it. Like if you're at the end of a side, you can definitely end it then. However, most of you are going to run out of thread long before that point in time. And so determining when to end your thread is critical. And so what you need to do is just simply make an L with your hand like this and check your thread length. If it is longer than this, you may continue. Obviously, this one is long enough. You could definitely continue for quite a while. However, if it's this short or a little bit shorter, you definitely need to stop. How you would do that then, no matter which stitch you're doing, is you would go in, up, over, and through this loop, but not just one time like you would with the blanket stitch, multiple times. 3 is the minimum. I just did 4. When you do a little bit more, it makes a little bit bigger knot. You should pull it down to the end. You can see my knot there. And then you can simply clip your thread. Never clip it exactly right on top of it. Give it a little bit of a distance, just like that. Obviously, then you can remove your pins in the section that you sewed, and you shouldn't really not see too much of your stitches. You might see a little bit of mine because I did them in gold, but if you do your matching color, you shouldn't even see any of your stitches. When you finish with one side, make sure you get a grade check.